Dear students in grade 12, good afternoon and welcome to our English seminar for today, which is specified to revise the most important grammatical skills in your book for the additional exam of English. Well, dear students, dear colleagues, let me first at the beginning of this seminar welcome my colleagues who are going to participate in this seminar. Miss Lucia Karim, an English supervisor from Aleppo. Good afternoon, Miss Lucia.
Mr. Basil.
Thanks for coming.
Thank you.
And Miss Hanan Kantakji, an English teacher from Hama Directorate.
Yes.
Good afternoon,
Good
Miss
afternoon, sir.
Hanan.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for coming.
Yes,
Well, dear students, we know, in fact, that during the academic year or the school year, we had a lot of seminars, a number of seminars. In those seminars, we discussed everything in your curriculum. But today, because it is a seminar which is specified for revision, it is, I think, a good idea to revise the most grammatical skills in your book. We can start, of course, talking about how to express wish, for example. We can talk about the passive voice, the reported speech, and we can talk, of course, about the causative verb, have. We can talk about some linking words in your book. They are mentioned in your book, of course. And we can also talk about how to express possibility by using modal auxiliary verbs. Of course, at the end of the seminar, if we have time, we can talk about a sample. We can do a sample. I mean, we can do the final exam and discuss all the questions by giving you some recommendations how to write a paragraph, how to answer each question. Well, let me first start with Miss Lucia. Miss Lucia, would you please talk about the wish? I think you are going to talk about how to write a wish sentence. Please.
When we want to talk about wish sentences, we mean by that unreal past. So when we use wish sentences, we use wish plus would, and this is to express a wish for someone to do something or for something to happen. An example.
The laptop, please.
Yes.
Can we use the laptop? Thank you very much. Okay.
Your room is not tidy. I wish you would tidy up this mess. In this sentence, we put would plus infinitive to express unreal past. And here, of course, we wish to express a wish for someone to do something.
Okay.
Next. How to write a wish sentence. Use I wish plus would to express a wish for a change in how someone behaves. An example. You are not polite to my friends.
So here the person or the speaker, you mean, is trying to criticize someone else's behavior, right? He is criticizing his behavior.
So when
and he wishes that he could change this behavior for something better. Okay.
So when we want to make a kind of criticism or annoyance, we put would plus infinitive.
Good.
An example, you are not polite to my friends. I wish you would be more polite to my friends. Or, I wish you wouldn't argue all the time.
Good. Of course, here, let's go back to the sentence, Miss Lucia. When someone says, you are not polite to my friends, and we ask the students, of course, in the exam to write a wish sentence, I'd like to remind the students, our dear students, that the student is free here to express or to use his own words to write a wish sentence. If he follows the grammatical rule correctly, of course, he will get the full mark. So here, you are not polite to my friends. If he says, I wish you could change this behavior, it's okay. It is accepted because he expresses here, right, or he writes a wish sentence and it is 100% correct. So Sometimes it's not necessary, I mean, here to use would, and some teachers say, or some colleagues say, or some students say that would here is the only word that is accepted here. If the student uses another word, it is not accepted, or we will deduct, for example, some marks. No, that's not true. Here the sentence is true. As you can see, the answer, I wish you would be more polite. You could be more polite. I wish you could change your behavior. All these sentences are accepted, but here it's just an example to make the students able how to write a wish sentence. But of course we have many answers else, but here we have written only one or two answers.
Yes, Mr.
But there are
Hussein.
other answers.
But the most important thing is the meaning here, because,
Yes.
it's unreal past.
Exactly.
So we have to put, if the sentence is positive,
I agree with
we
you.
have
Of course,
to put
he
it
has
in
to
the
use.
negative.
I said that
And
he has
vice
to
versa.
He has to follow the grammatical rule of how to write a wish sentence. If he follows the rule correctly, he will get a full mark. That's it. So here the meaning is important, as you said. So that's why we say in the remarks that any logical answer is accepted. It means that if the student writes another answer which is not written in the grading scale, okay, and it is logical, his answer is accepted.
So students here should think of two things, grammar and meaning as
Yes,
well.
yes, of course.
According to grammar, we have to go to the past.
Okay.
According to the meaning, we have to put the negative of the meaning of the sentence.
Exactly. Thank you. Let's continue, please. What else?
We use wish plus past tense verb to express a wish for the present situation to be different. An example: this room isn't very big. I wish it was a bit bigger. I can't sleep at night. I wish I could sleep at night.
Exactly.
And the same remarks, of course, here, that I can't sleep at night. According to the meaning, we've got here a negative sense. In the next sentence, in the answer, we have to put a positive sense. And of course, we have to go back to the past.
Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Lucia. I think it is very, very clear how to write a wish sentence. Now we can go on to talk about the passive voice. Here, Miss Hanan is ready to talk about the passive voice. Please.
Yeah. First, the word order. We have active voice and passive voice. In the active voice, we must have the word order subject, verb, object. Because the passive should be like this: object, verb to be, verb 3,
Okay.
and the rest.
Let's use the laptop, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. So the passive voice here,
Yeah.
As you can see, dear students, how to make
First.
passive voice. Let's have an example directly. Miss
Farmers
Hanan.
grow soya beans. The order first. The word order is subject, verb, object.
Good.
This sentence can be changed into the passive like this: soya beans. We add verb to be suitable to the tense of the sentence in the active, and the past participle of the verb grow, which is grown. Here we say by farmers. We mention the subject after the preposition by because it is a noun. But
Yes.
if it is a pronoun, it's not very important to be
Good.
mentioned.
So here we use the object
Yeah,
as
at the beginning,
a subject,
yeah,
then
at
we
the-
use verb to be
Yeah.
in the same tense as the active verb. But
yes,
the
exactly.
student here should notice
If
that
the new subject is singular or
the
plural,
relation between
Yeah.
the new
The-
subject and verb to be.
or the agreement.
If we have a plural noun, we
The verb
use a
to be.
plural verb to be.
Yeah, exactly.
If we have a singular noun, we use a singular
Yeah.
verb to be, the form of verb
the
to be.
agreement
Good.
between the subject and the verb.
Good.
Yeah. Okay. We have here an example. The house was painted by my father. Is it active or passive? Surely passive. Why? Because of the word order. The word order here is the house, was, verb to be, verb painted, verb 3 or past participle. By my father, the prepositional phrase here. Here, the subject, who receives the action here? The
The
subject.
subject receives that.
Exactly.
So here we say what happened to
Yeah.
the subject.
Yeah,
what
exactly.
happened to the house.
Why do we use the passive?
So the house here is not the doer.
Yeah.
It receives
The action. Yeah. So the sentence tells us here what happened to the subject.
Yes.
So what happens to the subject? It was painted.
Good.
Okay. We have tenses, of course, in the passive. Different tenses can be used in the passive. Let's start with the present simple. If we take the example first, John washes the car every day. The order here, subject, verb in the present, and the car is the object.
Okay.
Now in the passive, as usual, we begin with the object. We add verb to be suitable to the sentence in the active voice. Here the car is singular, so it should be is. And the past participle of the verb washed every day. If it is important, we say by John.
Good.
So the grammar rule here, we can say object.
So here,
Yeah,
let's
sorry.
stop here, Ms.
yeah,
Hannah,
okay.
because I think this point is very, very important for the students,
Yeah.
right? So here, some students say, is it necessary to write the agent in the passive, or it's not necessary? When we feel that the agent is very important to complete the meaning, it is
Yes.
necessary to write the agent. If it's not necessary
It is not
to
mentioned.
complete the meaning, if the meaning, I mean, is complete,
Without mentioning it, yes.
so there is no need to
Yeah.
write the agent. Here, for example, the car is washed every day. I think if it's complete, the meaning is
Yeah.
complete. But sometimes we should know, for example, who washes the car every day. So if we want to know who washes the car every day, we should say by John.
Yeah.
So here, I advise the students, in fact, if we have a noun in general, if we
Yeah.
have a noun, John, the school, the
Yeah.
government, Lucia, Hanan, the teacher, anyone, so
We
it's
should-
okay, right,
we
by
should mention
John,
it.
by
Yeah.
Lucia, by the government, by the school, by the engineers,
Yes.
etc. If we have a pronoun, he, she, we,
It's not
it's
necessary
not
to mention.
necessary.
Someone, something,
Exactly,
etc.
or
Yeah.
someone, it's not necessary
Yeah.
if we don't have a noun, a name.
Yes, yes, exactly.
Thank you.
Okay.
Okay.
Another
Let's
tense
continue.
in the
Yes.
past simple, of course. We have the example first. John washed the car yesterday. The same example, but it is in the past.
Okay.
So the same order, the same procedure. We begin with the car. The car was washed yesterday by John. The word order, the car, object, was verb to be in the past, and verb 3 or the past participle of the verb. Also by John, if it is optional, so we can mention it or not.
Yes.
Now the grammar rule here says object, was or were, verb 3, by, and the agent.
Okay.
This is about the past simple. We have a present continuance in the active and passive here. John is washing the car, the same example, but in the present continuance now. In the passive here, we say the car is being washed by John. In continuous tenses here, we have to be careful. We add being in continuous tenses. So we say the car here, as we said, verb to be is, being should be added in continuous tenses, and verb 3.
Let me make it simpler,
Yeah,
Ms.
as you
Hanan, if you don't mind.
No,
Here we have the verb wash. Wash here, as you said, is written in the present continuous,
Yeah.
is washing.
Yeah.
Here, when the student notice that the verb here is written in the present continuous, he should know that he has to use verb to be in the present continuous, in the same tense. So, is being.
Is being, yeah.
That's it. Is being. We have to use be in the same form as the verb wash. So wash here is written in the present continuous.
Yes.
We use be in the same tense. Is being. That's it,
Exactly.
simply.
Yeah.
Thank you.
This is about the past continuous again. The rule says object, verb to be am is are, plus being, plus verb 3 or past participle, plus by, and the agent.
Good.
Past continuous in the passive now. The example first. They were building a dam. Subject, verb in the past continuous, and a dam is the object. The word order should be like this. A dam was being built. Here it's not necessary to say by them because it is a pronoun. So we
Yes.
don't mention it.
Yes.
Okay.
A dam was being built.
Yeah, exactly. A dam was being built. The rule says object was were being and verb 3.
Yes.
By agent if it is a noun or if it is
if we
important.
have a noun.
Or if it
Or
is
a name.
important also, yes.
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Imperfect tenses now. Let's start with the present perfect here. The storm has destroyed many houses. Present perfect has destroyed. In the passive, many houses have been destroyed by the storm. We change here has into have because houses here is a plural.
Because the verb destroy here is written in the present perfect, we use be in the present perfect. Have been or has been.
Yes, of course.
But here, why did we use have?
The
As
new
you
subject.
said, Because the new
is-
subject, many houses,
Yeah, is a plural.
is plural. Because
So-
it is plural, we use a plural
verb.
not a singular verb.
Yes.
Good.
Here we should say by the storm, because we need to know who destroyed the houses or what destroyed the
Here
houses.
it is important to complete the meaning.
complete.
If the student here put a full stop and says, many houses have been destroyed, full stop, without mentioning
We
the
have to know,
agent,
yeah.
here I think we will deduct at least 2 marks
Yes.
because he didn't mention
The doer of the action,
agent
the
or the
agent,
doer
yeah.
of the action.
Yeah.
Right?
Now,
right.
Because it is important here
To mention-
complete the meaning.
yes,
Yes.
to complete the meaning,
Yes.
of course. Now the word or the in the rule, let's say, object have or has been, verb 3, and by plus agent.
Yes.
This is the present perfect form in the passive.
Good.
Now the past perfect. Firstly, the example. John had washed the car before we arrived. Here we need to change. John had washed the car because we have an object here. So in the passive, the car had been washed by John before we arrived. Also in perfect tenses, as we said in the present perfect, we add been or been here.
Good.
Okay.
Here, again, I have one more point.
Yes, okay.
In the first sentence, in the active,
Yeah.
John had washed the car. Here we have a clause.
Yes.
And then we have a time clause before we arrived. Here, the time clause is another clause
Yes.
connected with
The
or
first.
linked with the first clause
Yes.
by the word before.
Yeah.
So the connecting word here is before. So here maybe some students, Ms. Hanan, get confused because they think that they need to change both clauses into passive. The
Yeah.
second clause
Cannot
does
be
not
changed.
have
Cannot be
an
changed into
object,
the
so
passive. Yeah.
it cannot be made
In the passive because there is no
passive,
object.
into the passive. Yes,
Exactly.
exactly. Yes.
Okay, the grammar rule here says object had been, verb 3, and by agent.
Good.
Okay. The last rule should be when we have models. For example, a strong wind can destroy a lot of crops.
You mean model, verb, can,
will,
should, must,
yeah,
will,
exactly. Yeah.
etc.
When
Good.
we have one of these,
Yes,
how to make
yes.
it passive.
Okay.
So a strong wind can destroy a lot of crops. The object here is a lot of crops at the beginning can be destroyed by a strong wind. So we add here after the model be. After all models.
Why? Because after models we use zero form.
Yeah, exactly.
We
And
use
the
zero
zero form of verb
So
to
here
be.
we have to use zero form of be.
Yes, exactly. It's be.
Simply. Yes.
yes.
Can destroy, can be.
Yes.
Must destroy, should destroy, should.
Must be destroyed, should be
et cetera.
destroyed, etc. Yeah.
Good.
Here we should mention the agent because a strong wind, of course, destroyed the crops.
Yes.
Now, we should protect rare animals from extinction. Also here we have should, the model, should protect. Rare animals is the object in the passive now. Rare animals should be protected from extinction. Sorry. So should be also we use or we add verb to be after should because models are followed by the pair infinitive of verb to be, which is be.
Good. Good. Thank you.
Another example, sir? Or just examples, let's say.
Okay.
We must move people from their houses before building the dam.
Yes.
We must move, more about models, I mean. Here, must move people. People is the object. In the passive, people must be moved from their houses before building the dam.
Good.
When we have must here, the same rule as we spoke about can, as we spoke about should. Another example about will. The scientist will discuss the problem of pollution. The problem of pollution will be discussed by the scientist.
So the problem of pollution. Again, here the object in the active sentence
Yeah.
is
The scientist.
or contains more than one word.
You mean
the problem of pollution.
Yeah.
So here some students again get confused. They think that the problem is the only word here which is the object. No, it's not true. The problem of what?
Yes.
The problem of pollution here we have a phrase.
Yeah, they
Right?
have to take the whole phrase.
A noun phrase. This noun phrase,
Should
the
be-
whole phrase is an object.
Yeah.
So we have to say the problem of pollution
will be
will be discussed
by the scientist.
Here by the scientist
It's
is
necessary.
necessary
Yeah,
to be
to
mentioned.
add information about
Yes,
the meaning.
yes,
Okay.
to complete the information.
Yes, okay.
Thank you, Ms. Hanan. Thank you. I think it's very clear. We hope, dear students, that the passive voice now is clear to you. Now, Miss Lucia, again, we'll talk about the reported speech. Please.
First of all, when we want to report someone's word and said that someone else said these words, we have to use reported speech.
Good.
Now, how to use
So
reported
this speech could be a sentence.
A sentence.
And it could be
A question.
a question. When we talk about questions, we have two types.
WH questions and yes/no questions.
Good. So we have three titles to be dealt with.
Yes.
When we talk about
now we
the
will
reported
start with
speech.
sentences.
Okay. Let's start, please. The
First of
reported
all, of
speech.
course, we have to put the reporting verb. Of course, we have to use said or told to report what someone said to someone else. The steps that we have to follow in reported speech are, first, we have to put the reporting verb, which is said or told. Then we have to change the verb into the past.
Yes.
And change the verb, the pronoun. Example: Salma, Ali, I'm sorry about what happened.
So here the words, as you can see, dear students, are put between two quotation marks.
Two quotation
so here
marks.
it is a direct
This is the direct speech.
So these words are not Lucia's words, not my words. They are Salma's words.
Words.
Good.
Salma told Ali that she was sorry about what had happened.
Good.
Here we changed the pronoun I am. Here we have she was, and at the same time we changed am into the past and make it as was. So
Of course, that here is optional, right?
yeah, of course, that
So we can
is
say Salma
optional.
told Ali she was sorry.
She was sorry.
So
it's okay.
the word that is optional. The student can write it, and he is free if he doesn't write it.
About what had happened, the same here. We've got happened in the direct speech,
Yes.
and here we had happened in the reported speech.
Good.
Salma said that she was sorry about what had
So
happened.
said or told. Good.
Now here we have a schedule about how to change tenses into reported speech. As we've said before, the present, we changed the present into the past. Simple present becomes as simple past, as in the example, Alice, I work in an office. Alice said she worked in an office. Here, the present simple becomes as past simple. Next, simple past becomes as past perfect. Alice, I worked in the garden. Alice said she had worked in the garden. Present continuous becomes as past continuous. Alice, I'm working in the garden. In the reported speech, it becomes Alice said she was working in the garden.
Good.
Past continuous becomes as past perfect continuous. An example, Alice, I was working in the garden. Alice said she had been working in the garden.
Good.
Reported questions. As we've mentioned before, reported speech according to questions, we have two types: WH questions and yes/no questions. If we start with reporting WH questions, an example: why are you laughing? He asked me why I was laughing. Here, if we want to talk about the steps that we follow to make the sentence as a reported speech, we have here 4 steps.
Good.
First of all, changing the pronoun, then changing the verb
tense.
into the past.
Yes, yes.
Here we put why in
You mean the question word,
in the
then
direct
we
speech
use the subject.
and in the reported speech.
Because here in the first one is a question.
Yes.
When we report this question, we are not asking here.
We are not asking
So
here.
here we have to use a sentence.
A sentence,
Right?
and this leads
and
us
after
to
the
fourth
question
step.
word, we use a subject,
That's
not an auxiliary verb. We use the subject, then the verb.
Exactly.
Good. So why I?
And
me, because me here, the object pronoun.
yeah, and it's optional here, of
the
course.
The subject pronoun is I. If we say, Miss Lucia, he asked her, why she? Right? He asked him, why he? So from the object pronoun, we know the subject pronoun.
Subject.
He asked them, why they?
They.
He asked us, why we? Etc.
Etc.
Good.
And of course here we make a kind of inversion, let us say, because why are you? It becomes I was. So here we've got a sentence as we've mentioned before, and here we don't have a question in the answer, of course.
Good.
Another example, what are you going to do after school? She wanted to know what I was going to do after school. The same here, what I was going to do, the question word, which is what, a kind of inversion to make the question as a sentence, and the present into the past, and of course, don't forget to change the pronoun.
Okay.
Now we have reporting yes-no questions.
Good.
Use ask, wanted to know, plus if or whether. Fine. In yes-no questions, here we have to add if or whether at the beginning of the sentence. Then we do the steps that we talked about changing into the past, changing the pronoun, and of course putting the question as a sentence in the reported speech.
Good.
Example, did you enjoy the class? She asked me if or whether I had enjoyed the class. We start here with if or whether, then we change the pronoun you into I, then we put the past perfect instead of past simple, because we have here a change
did here
to the
means
past.
that the question is in the past simple.
In the past simple, so we
Yes.
have it in the past perfect, and of course here we don't have a question, it's a sentence, and we put had enjoyed.
Good.
She wanted to know if or
It's the
whether
same.
I had enjoyed
We
the
can start with
We can start.
she asked me
Yeah.
or she wanted to know.
Yeah,
Good.
that's it.
But in the exam, of course, the student should begin with the words mentioned in brackets in the exam.
Of course.
Because we give the student the words.
The reporting verb and
yes,
what they should
exactly,
start off.
Exactly, and sometimes the object pronoun.
Yeah.
Yes. Good.
Correct the verbs in brackets. This is a kind of activity. He said that he, between brackets, live in Damascus with his family. Here the student should put the past simple, of course, because we've got he said, so he lived in Damascus with his family.
Okay.
Next, she said she learned Spanish for her next trip to Spain.
So in the past simple, past
In the
simple,
past,
simple,
yeah.
lived, learned.
And the same
Alia
as Alia
told her
told her
friend.
friend she liked her new camera.
So all these verbs in brackets
have to
should be
change
changed into
the verb
past
into
simple
past.
because the introducing or the reporting verb said, told is in the past, so we need to change
The
verbs
present
in the past
into the
simple.
past.
That's it. Okay. Now, thank you, Miss
Yes,
Lucia. I think the passive voice is very clear. Now we can talk about the causative
Causative
verb
verbs.
have. Of course, the causative verb have, I think there is a rule, there is a structure, a grammatical structure the students should follow to express this condition. But here we should remind the students that it is a structure. It is not only one word or verb to have. It is a complete structure, as in the passive. We use the passive, we can write a sentence in English in the active voice, we can write it in the passive voice, and we can write it in the causative form. So each case has a meaning
Yes,
or
of
has
course.
a use, right?
And
what
now
about
we will see about the
causative verb?
differences. If we start with the sentence that here the speaker is the doer of the action,
Okay.
we've got subject plus verb plus object. I cut my hair. Here the sentence is in the active form and I as a subject cut as a verb and object as
Okay,
my hair.
when we say a sentence like this, I cut my hair. So here, for example, I am the speaker. I cut my hair. What does it mean? It means that
This
the
means
speaker
that is the doer.
himself. Is himself the doer of the action. I cut my hair. It means I myself cut my hair. No one else.
That's it.
That's it.
But in the causative verbs here, we had a new structure and of course here a new meaning. I had my hair cut. Here we've got the structure. Subject plus have plus object plus the past participle of
So
the verb.
this is the form of the causative.
This is the form of the causative as I, subject, had as the verb to have,
Okay.
my hair as the object, and of course it's in the cut in the past
Okay, I
participle.
have a question, Miss Lucia.
Yes.
Why is the verb have here in brackets is put between brackets?
Because in the sentence, if we've got present, we have to put the verb to have in the present.
So
If
it means
it's
that
the
we
past,
use verb to have in the same tense as the sentence in the active.
in the active.
Yes.
So here we have it into brackets because if it's in the past, I put it in the past, and that's it.
So when we use the causative, the meaning of using the causative or
Here-
the reason is
here we've got something different.
The speaker is not the doer, someone else
did the action, and this is the difference in meaning
Yes.
between the active sentence and
That's
the
why
sentence
we
in
use
the
the
causative.
causative. That's why we use the causative.
That's it.
Exactly. Okay.
Because the speaker is not the doer of the action, someone else did the action.
Good. Thank you. Now let's do an exercise.
An exercise.
Use the causative verb have.
My brother didn't repair the machine himself.
Okay.
My brother or
It means
he,
that someone else repaired the machine. Not my brother.
Yes.
So
So my brother or he had the machine or it repaired. If we want to apply the structure of the causative
So
verb
here, let's notice something here, that the sentence in the active is written in the negative form, Miss Lucia. Negative.
the same thing. So
Yes.
we have to change the negative into positive
or
and
affirmative.
vice versa.
Yes, exactly. So my brother didn't repair the machine. It means that he had
Had
it repaired.
it repaired.
It means that someone else repaired it for him.
And in the
Yes.
exam, students should pay attention as well to
Yes.
the meaning and structure, not only the structure.
And the negative or affirmative.
That's it.
They should know the sentence, whether the sentence is written in the negative form or in the
In
affirmative
the
form.
affirmative form.
Yes. Another example.
My
please.
brother repaired the machine, the same example himself, he didn't have it repaired. Here, just we have, instead of the noun,
Yes.
my brother, as the pronoun he, and instead of the machine, we have it instead.
Yes, yes, yes. So here it is written in the affirmative. It means that
We have to put the negative here.
he didn't
in the
ask
answer.
someone else to do the action for him because he did the action himself.
That's it.
That's it. Okay. Thank you very much, Miss Lucia. I think now Miss Hanan can talk about the conditional sentences.
Yeah.
Dear students, you know that conditionals are important for the baccalaureate students because in the final exam you can be given a sentence,
complete
especially in the
Completion
question
sentences.
related to tenses, right? Or to complete,
Yes.
to write an if clause, for example, or to complete
Yes.
a conditional sentence in general. Okay, let's see what about
Now,
conditions.
in conditional sentences, we have two clauses. First, one which contains if, we call it if clause, and the second one which has will, we call it main clause. Example, if I hear any news, I'll phone you. If I hear the news, this is the condition or this is the clause. The result, I'll phone you. So we have two clauses here. One contains if, it is the if clause, and the other which contains will, and it is the main clause. I'll phone you if I hear any news. Here we have two ways to write conditional sentences, either to start with the if clause and the main clause comes next, or to begin with the main clause and the if clause should be next.
Good.
But
So we
But-
can, you mean, begin our sentence with the if clause or the main clause?
Yeah, but there is only a punctuation mark which should be added if we start
You
with
mean
the if
if
clause.
we start with the if clause, we should
Yeah.
use a comma?
Yeah, it is necessary.
Yes.
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 Okay.
Of course. Thank you.
Now, in conditional sentences, we have patterns or we have types. We have type 1, type 2, type 3. We have 0, of course, for scientific facts, but it's okay now. Let's start with type 1 now. If we take a bus, it will be cheaper. This is type 1. How do you know it is type 1? In if clause, the verb should be present. In the main clause, it will be future plus infinitive. In type 2, we have past symbol in the if clause. If we took a bus, it would be cheaper. The main clause should contain would plus infinitive. In type 3, we have past perfect. If we had taken a bus, past perfect had taken, and the result clause will be would have been cheaper. This is the form for the three types of conditional sentences. If you want to clarify more about type 1, for example, I said in if clause we have the present tense, and in the main clause we should have will. Example, if you post the letter today, this is if clause. What's the tense? The verb here is post. It is in the present symbol.
Yes.
The result, it'll get there by Thursday. So will get here, the short form of will is double L, apostrophe double L. It'll get there by Thursday. The condition here is, another example first, if you don't hurry, the others will go without us. Here we have the main clause in the present symbol, the result clause in the future. Why do we use type 1? We use type 1 when we talk about something possible in the future. So we use it for a possible future action. This is type 1. Now, type 2. In type 2, the difference is the grammar, of course, the tense. In if clause, we have the past symbol. In the main clause, would plus, of course, infinitive. Example, if I had £1 million, I would probably buy a house. If I had $1 million, does it mean I had the million?
You can't, of course, buy a house.
Yeah. So nowadays, of
Okay.
course, I would probably buy a house. Okay. Also, it could be in this order. It would be awful if you lost your passport. We begin with the main clause here. So it would be awful if you lost your passport. So if you lost your passport, what would happen? It would be awful.
Good.
Here, we use the past tense. Why? Because we are talking about something unreal. So we use type 2.
Imaginary. It's
Sorry?
something imaginary.
Imaginary
yes.
or
Yes.
real, yeah. Unreal, I'm
Yes,
sorry.
yes.
So type 2 is used for something unreal or something imaginary, which
So here
cannot
the speaker is
happen.
imagining
Yeah.
something which is not true about the present.
Yeah, like this.
About
If I
now.
had £1 million, I
Yes.
don't have them.
Yes.
I would probably buy a house. I can't buy the house because the condition I don't have is not possible. I
If
don't
I
have
had
the
£1 million, I wouldn't come here, for example.
million pounds.
Okay,
yeah.
no.
No.
It's just a joke. Okay. What about type 3?
Type 3. Also, we have two clauses. If a clause should be past perfect here.
Okay.
The main clause should contain would, have, and verb 3. Example, we lost. If we had won the match, the result here is we lost. So if we had won the match, we would have got through the final.
So what happened is exactly the opposite of the conditional sentence.
Yeah, exactly. It is the
the fact
opposite.
is we lost,
Yes. Yeah.
right?
So-
But here the speaker is trying to imagine something about the past.
About the past,
not about the
something
present.
unreal about the past or imaginary about the past.
Yes.
So if we had won the match, this means we didn't win. We would have got through the final. We didn't get through the final. Another example. If we had taken your advice, we would have saved a lot of time.
It means that we didn't take
Yes.
your advice, in
So,
fact.
the
So
result,
we didn't save
a lot of
a
time.
lot of time. This is the fact.
Yeah.
Good.
So why do we use type 3? When we talk about something unreal in the past
Yes.
or which didn't happen. Some examples about some activity about the conditional sentences.
Okay.
Here, if I have enough money, I go, the verb between brackets should be in the correct form, in the correct tense, to Canada. How can we guess, is it type 1, type 2, type 3?
Here we have in the if clause. It is
In the present.
simple.
So it should be type
So we use future. We'll
type
go.
1.
We'll go.
So
Type 1.
with type 1, if a clause is present, the second or the result clause should be will plus go.
Okay.
It should be I will go to Canada. If I had enough money, it should be I would go to Canada, because
Why?
this is type
Because the
2
verb in the if clause
is past
in
simple,
the past simple.
and the result
So
clause
would go,
would be
conditional.
would plus
Yes,
infinitive,
yes.
right? Now, if I, between the brackets, the verb here is in the base form. If I have enough money, I would have gone to Canada. The main clause, I would have gone to Canada. This form, would have, and verb 3 refers
Type
to
three.
type 3.
So,
So we should correct the verb here
past perfect in
by
the if
using the
clause.
past perfect. The past perfect should
I
be had.
had.
The
Why?
verb had
Because-
is auxiliary. The
Yes.
second had is the main verb.
Exactly.
Now, yeah?
If I be you, okay.
Yeah. If I be you, I would apologize to the teacher. If I be you. Am I you? Of
No,
course not.
I'm
So,
imagining.
yeah. We have here two choices. If I were you, it is to give advice. If I were
It means
you,
that if I were in your place,
yeah.
if I were in your shoes, it
You
is
choose
an idiom.
An idiom, yeah.
Yes.
So if I were you, I would apologize to the teacher.
Yes.
Am I you? Of course not. If the driver hadn't driven too fast, he not have an accident. Type 1, 2, 3, it should be 3. How do we know it is type 3? In the if clause we have had and verb 3.
Yes.
Surely negative. So if the driver hadn't driven too fast, he wouldn't have
Had.
an accident.
Wouldn't have had
An accident.
No.
Okay, it is imaginary about the past. If we didn't have electricity, modern life
Would be.
would be difficult. If we didn't have electricity, do we have electricity?
We have. So
Yes.
if we now in general we say
Yeah.
we have electricity, and we hope that we have electricity
More.
all the time. It's okay. Now modern
Modern
life
life.
would be difficult. We are talking about life in general.
Yeah.
Without electricity, of course,
Yeah,
life
well,
would be
impossible.
difficult. With electricity, life became easier.
Yeah.
Yes.
If there were no legal system, some people behave badly. This is type 2. How do you know it is type 2?
Yes.
In if clause we have the verb were in the past. So the main clause should be some people would behave badly.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Now, Ms. Hanan, I think, has just talked about the conditionals
Sentences.
in details. Now, Ms. Lucia, I think we can talk about how to use the modal auxiliary verbs, or some modals, to express possibility.
Possibilities.
And I think it is mentioned in Unit 6 in the baccalaureate, maybe, in Unit 6. Would you please talk about how to express possibilities
How to
in
express
English?
possibilities with must, can't, and might.
Okay.
First of all, we're going to start with must plus infinitive. When we are sure about something, we have to use must plus infinitive. Let's
Okay.
see. To talk about things which we are almost sure are true. Example, he must earn a lot of money to be able to buy that expensive car. Here we've got must plus earn. Of course, earn here is in the infinitive, and here we are sure that the thing that we are talking about is true. So here we put must plus earn in the infinitive.
Good. He must earn a lot of money to be able to buy that expensive car. Here, I think the speaker here is trying to give a logical conclusion about a situation he sees in front of his eyes. Am I right?
And that's why we say he's sure.
Yes, of course. He must earn. I am sure that he earns a lot of money. That man or that person earns a lot of money to be able to buy that expensive car. He has an expensive car, so he must earn a lot of money. Of course, the word must here, the auxiliary verb must here, does not express obligation at all.
No, you don't mean
the students should
obligation
know.
at all.
I mean, the students and maybe their teachers should mention that and should remind them that we can use this auxiliary verb to express
Possibility, which is here,
possibility,
sure.
to express obligation. It has a
Different
wide
meanings.
range of meanings, I think. So here, in this situation, we use must to express possibility, to give a logical conclusion about a situation.
Yes.
Am I right? Good. So, what about count now?
Count plus infinitive. To talk about things which we are almost sure are not true. Example, it's December. It can't be hot tomorrow.
Again,
Again,
the speaker is giving a logical conclusion.
a logical conclusion.
Yes.
And here, of course, can't be as a structure now. Can't plus infinitive, because, of course, after
Yes,
modals we
yes,
put the infinitive
yes,
form
yes.
of the verb.
So here, the speaker is trying to say, I am sure, right, it's not hot tomorrow. I'm sure it's not going to be hot tomorrow. Why? Because it's December, right?
Yeah.
Good. What
Next,
about might now?
might plus infinitive. When we are unsure whether something is true or not. An example, it's spring. It might be hot tomorrow. Here we are not sure.
Yeah.
So we use the modal, which is might, and of course as a structure we use be after might,
Yes.
because we
The
use
speaker is not
might
sure.
plus
Yes,
infinitive.
Yes, yes. Okay. How to express possibilities about the past now?
About the past now.
You
Here,
said we used might, must, and can't,
And
to
can't.
express possibility in the present.
Possibilities in the
With
present.
the zero form, with the infinitive.
now we put after them as a structure must, can't, might, plus have, plus the past participle, of course, of the verb.
So this form expresses possibility
Possibilities
about the past.
about the past.
Yes.
Examples. Ali didn't find his keys in the office.
So it is in the past.
It's in the past. He must have forgotten them at home. The structure here must plus have plus the past participle, which is
So the
forgotten.
speaker is 100% sure,
Sure.
that Ali forgot his keys at home.
But
Am
of
I
course here the expressing of the possibility is in the past.
Yes, yes.
Mahmoud can't have phoned me. I was at home and I would have heard the telephone. Again, here he's sure that Mahmoud
Didn't
can't
call
have
him.
phoned
Yes.
him. So he put,
Because he was at home.
yeah, so he put the structure can't plus have plus the past participle, which is phoned.
Yes.
Next, Alia didn't come. She might have forgotten the meeting. Again, she didn't come.
The
so
speaker is not is unsure about
Unsure.
or whether Alia forgot the meeting
or not. So she
Might.
might have forgotten the meeting.
Yes.
And as a structure, might plus have plus the past participle, which is forgotten.
Yes. Thank you very much. What about the linking words now? We know that we have,
Different.
let's say, a variety of words, a wide range of words, which are used to link the clauses,
Yes.
I mean. Not only the clauses, in fact. For example, we use and to link between two nouns,
sentences, two nouns,
two
verbs,
adjectives, two verbs,
Two parallel
and two
structures.
clauses, two phrases, etc. But here, in this context, we are trying to, let's say, remind the students of how to use the linking words to make a compound sentence, maybe, to link two simple sentences together, two clauses, to make a compound one. So, please, and the meaning of these words, of course.
of course.
What about the linking words, Ms. Hannah?
Linking words here we have for time, we have for contrast, and we have others, of course. Let's start with time words.
Time words.
Yeah, time words which used to connect or to show the order of the events, of course.
Okay.
So, example first, my leg hurts when I walk. It means at the moment I walk, I feel my leg hurts. So we use when here to show that I get.
Every time I walk, my
Yes.
leg hurts.
Yes. So this
Right.
shows, of course, the relation between walking and the time of
Yes.
walking is connected with getting hurt.
Yes.
I hear the news on the radio as or while I was driving home. While or as here in the meaning during the time, of course. So I hear the news on the radio
So as can be used In the same meaning as while.
Exactly. Yes, they are interchangeable.
Yes. One of its meanings.
Yeah. As or while I was driving home. So this means that during driving home, what happened? I hear the news on the radio.
During the time when I was driving
One
home.
was in progress, another action happened during it.
Yes.
So during the time when I was driving, this is the meaning here. We use when or after the speaker sat down, no one knew what to say. If we say when the speaker sat down, no one knew what to say, it means at the moment the speaker sat down, no one knew what to say. If we connect them using after, it means here we order. After the speaker sat down, first he sat down, then what happened? No one knew what to say.
Yes.
Okay. This is about time, linking words of time. Also more, we have as soon as. Example first. As soon as I left the house, what happened? It started to rain. So at the moment I left the house, what happened? It started to rain. So it means here immediately after I left the house, it began to rain.
Yes.
I must get the post office before it closes. So here we have to order also which one happened before the other. I must get to the office, or post office I mean, before it closes. So before it closes, what should I do? I have to do something. We order something should be happen before the other.
Yes.
We have to wait until the light changes to green.
Until. Yes.
I think, yeah. So we have to wait until. Until here is the linking word. It means up to the time when the light changes. I have to wait until it becomes green. Then I have.
Up to the time when the light changes to green.
Yeah, yeah.
Yes.
I have to wait until it gets green, then to move.
Yes.
I've been sad since you left. Since here, from the time you left and up till now.
From
I
that
feel sad.
time.
Yeah, from that time. And since generally is used with the present perfect.
Yes.
But something is very important about since. The clause which contains since, it should be always in the past
You mean
form.
the verb after since,
Yeah,
not
if we
before
use-
since. The verb
yeah.
which comes after the word since
Should be always.
should be in the past simple.
Yeah, should always be
And
past.
before since, it should be present perfect.
Yeah.
Yes.
And this sometimes makes a kind of confusion for
Yes,
students because
some
how
students
can
get
you use
confused.
Yeah, how can
Yes.
you use the present with the past? But in this case it is okay.
Yes.
More linking words we have but, although, in spite of. They all show contrast. But is a conjunction, although is a, let's say, an adverb, in spite of is a preposition. So the jacket was nice, but it was too small. We use but here in the middle, and before but we should use a comma to show contrast. The jacket was nice, but it was too small. Although I liked the sweater, I didn't buy it. Although here to show contrast. Although we have here to a contrast. I like the sweater, but I didn't buy it. We use the connector here.
An
Although.
expected result.
Yeah, exactly.
It is used to express an expected result, because if someone likes a sweater, we expect him to buy it.
Yeah,
So although I like the sweater,
but
I didn't buy it.
yeah, okay.
Okay.
Another connecting word here in the same meaning to show contrast is in spite of. In spite of, I concentrate that it is a preposition here. Tom felt perfectly calm in spite of danger. In spite of, because it is a preposition, it is followed by a noun or a noun phrase.
So not a clause.
Not a clause.
After in spite of, we don't use a clause.
Yeah, we can't
We
use
use
subject
a
verb.
noun or a noun phrase.
Yeah, just
Yes.
a noun phrase or a pronoun.
Yes.
Okay.
In spite of him, in spite of danger, in spite. Okay.
Yes, that's all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Do we have something else, or that's
No,
all?
That's all for
Now,
me.
I think Miss Lucia will talk about some other linking words, to, in order to,
To.
so that, and for.
In order to,
Please.
so that, and for.
Okay.
If we start with to and in order to, both of them express purpose. But to is a kind of informal, and in order to, it is more formal than
Okay.
to.
Okay.
Examples. First of all, about to. We can use the to infinitive to say why someone does something, what the purpose of an action is. Most people work to earn money.
Why do most people work?
To earn money.
The purpose.
So
Yes,
here
the
we've got the
purpose.
purpose, which is to earn
Exactly,
money.
exactly.
And of course, here we have to pay attention to the structure, which is earn in the infinitive.
Infinitive after to. Good.
We went to the library to get some books.
Why did you go to the library?
To get some books.
Exactly.
The same, the structure
The
is to
purpose.
plus infinitive, and
Yes.
here we've got purpose. In order to, as we've mentioned before, it is more formal than to. An example, the government took new measures in order to reduce crime.
So here we are talking about the government. That's why it is
More formal
more formal.
in the
And
meaning,
should use in order
in
to.
order to.
Yes.
But after in order to, the same as to, we use the infinitive, which is reduce.
Good.
Fuad was hurrying in order not to miss his train. The same as a structure
The
we've
negative
got
form of in order.
in order to, and miss in the
In
infinitive,
order not to.
not to.
Good. Good.
Now we have so that. After so that, we use a subject plus the main verb,
A clause.
a clause.
Okay.
Farmers cut down trees so that they have more land for growing crops.
So it expresses a result, consequence.
Consequence.
Of something.
And they as a subject and have as the main verb.
So if they cut down trees, they will have more land for growing
Crops.
So this is the consequence or the result.
The result.
Yes.
I'll post the card today so that it gets there on time.
So if I post it today, it gets there.
It gets there
It will
on
get
time.
there on time. Okay.
And
So
the same as it subject and gets as the
a
main verb.
clause. Yes.
Activities.
Okay.
Choose the correct word. I'll phone you until or as soon as I arrive. Of course, here the answer is as soon as. We are talking about as soon as time, because I'll phone you immediately, as Ms. Hanan mentioned before. Here as soon as means immediately, so we put as soon as the correct answer.
Okay.
I always brush my teeth before or as soon as I go to bed. The correct answer is before. Here, of course, we've got a tense or an action
Because I
that
should do
happened
something before something else.
Something
I
else.
can't take my brush to the bed, of course.
Yeah, so
Okay.
here we have to put before to express something which happened before something else.
Yes.
I hope I manage to see you until or before you go on holiday. The same thing, we express something which happened before something else, we put before. When or after a few hours, I got tired of playing video games. After is the correct
We
answer.
cannot use when here, of course.
Of course.
Because when here should be used with a clause.
With a
A
clause,
few hours is a noun phrase. It's not a clause.
and we have to put here after.
Yes.
As soon as or until you see him, tell her I said hello. And here we've got as soon as, of course, immediately you see him and you tell her about that I said hello
that's
to
all.
her. And that's all. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Miss Lucy. I think, dear students, we hope really that everything is clear now to you when we talk about grammar. Of course, now we are going to have a short break. Before we have a break, I'd like to remind you that you can, if we have a phone, I don't know, you can contact us and ask about anything in your curriculum, especially for the English exam. After the break, we can talk about the English exam itself. We can talk about all the questions
And we
in
can
details
have a sample.
and give some recommendations and some pieces of advice, and then we can finish this seminar. Now, let's have a short break, and then we can go back. Thank you. again, dear students in grade 12. Before the break, as you know, we were talking about English grammar in grade 12. We discussed all the grammatical skills mentioned in your book. Now we can have a sample. I think it is the final exam, Miss Hanan,
Yes.
for the year 2020.
2020,
Let's start with the scientific section. I think the overhead is ready. We can use the overhead. Thank you very much.
Yeah. It's okay.
I think Miss Hanan will talk about the first text. As you know, dear students, maybe you can make it smaller. Is it clear? We can move the paper down, please. Down, down, down. That's it. Now, as you read, you can
Yes.
raise it.
Shall I read the text or
okay.
should...
Now we can talk about the text. As you know, dear students, before we talk about the exam, the students know, of course, that they have two pages, two sheets of paper.
Yeah.
In the first paper of the exam, we have two texts. The first text, please. Ms.
Yeah.
Hanan will talk about it.
The first text here, the first page of the exam test, of course, is about reading comprehension. So we have two texts, one from the reading book or the activity book of the students.
You can read it from
Yeah.
there. It's okay.
Plants are always in danger from animals.
So it is about plants.
Yeah.
Okay.
First, the students, before that, I want to say, they have to read and to do the tasks below. I think
What about
here-
the size of this text?
Yes.
How many words?
Between 150
No
and
more than
200.
200.
Between 150 and 200
Yes, no more
words.
than 200
yeah, no
words.
more.
No more.
Yes. But I want to give advice about this. They have two choices, either to read the whole text, then answer or do the tasks below, or my advice, of course, is to read the answer, the questions, then to choose keywords from the question and look for it in the text, of course. This will help them to shorten the time, to save the
Okay,
time.
would you please move the paper to the right, to the right, to the right?
Is
That's
it okay now?
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Shall I read it
okay,
first?
why not?
Plants are always in danger from animals which want to feed on their roots, trunks, leaves, and their other parts. Some plants which grow in dry climates, for example, cactuses, store large quantities of water in their stems. To protect themselves, they have sharp thorns. Animals will hurt themselves if they try to get the water or get to the water from these plants. Many plants protect themselves by poisoning their enemies. In some cases, the poison they contain is so powerful that that it can kill any living thing which touches or eats them. The poison can be in the leaves, the seeds, or berries, or in other parts of the plant. Some acacia trees in hot African countries are protected by ants, which live permanently on their branches. If an animal starts to eat the tree's leaves, the ants attack it. Some plants, such as horse
You
chestnut,
can move it
to the top.
up, yes, please.
Yes. So, some plants, such as horse chestnut trees, are covered with a sticky substance which can prevent insects from eating them. Sometimes this substance is so strong that insects' feet or wings get stuck and they can't escape.
Okay.
So, my advice, either to read first or to read the
So we
the
have two
answers.
choices.
Yeah.
The student has two choices. Either to read the questions before reading the text.
Because they can know what
Because
to
when he
focus.
reads the questions,
Yeah.
these questions will guide him to go directly
To the
answer
Yeah.
in the text.
Yeah.
Or he can take another choice,
Yes.
as you said. He can first
Read the text.
the whole text, then
Do
read
As a kind
read
of skimming or scanning the
Exactly.
text and
he
then
reads
answering the questions
But
below.
I think it is my advice to
Yes.
he can read the questions
First.
before reading the
Yeah.
text because they will guide
Them.
him to reach the answer easily
Directly.
and directly.
Yes,
And so
exactly.
he won't waste time
in
this
reading.
way,
Yeah.
in this strategy. Okay,
Yeah.
let's read the questions,
First
please.
question, why are plants in danger? So we choose the
Would you
keyword.
please, the paper, the question should be clear on the overhead. Thank you.
It's okay now?
Yes, that's it.
Why?
But you can push the paper from the right a little bit to the left, please.
Okay.
That's it.
No.
Okay.
Why are plants in danger? The key word here is in danger. So we try to look for this word in the text. So plants are always in danger from animals?
Ms. Hanan, it's not clear. The answer, you have to move the paper to make it clear on the monitor.
Okay.
The answer, where is the answer?
The answer. First I have to choose a keyword from the question. The keyword here is in danger. So in the beginning of the paragraph or the text, plants are always in danger from animals which want to feed on their roots, trunks, leaves, and other plants. So they are in danger
So here,
from animals.
animals will what?
Eat them, feed on them.
Feed on them.
Yeah.
Feed on its parts.
Yeah,
plant's
the parts of the
And
plant.
we have many parts.
Yeah,
The plant
either the roots.
has many parts.
Yes,
The roots,
the
the
roots,
leaves,
trunk,
etc.
etc.
If the student now
Yes.
writes or mentions one
Yes.
part of this plant,
Yeah.
okay?
We have many parts. He should mention more than one. Yes, at least two. Here we have four. So if he mentions 2, 3, he should.
If the student writes because animals will feed on them
It's okay.
or feed on them,
Yes, it's okay. But if he wanted, of course,
it is
to
a
mention,
logical answer.
Yeah.
I mean, if the student gives a logical answer
It is accepted,
related
of
to the
course.
text, his answer is accepted
Yeah,
and
and he will
gets
get full mark. Yes, yes, sir.
Okay, there is no fear.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, what about
The second question. Where do cactuses keep water? I choose the word cactuses and water. These are keywords for me. I think it's mentioned here in the second paragraph. They
Not
say.
clear, not clear. Look at the monitor, Miss Hanan.
Okay, is it now?
Try to
Yes.
put the paper in the correct place, please.
Yes, now it's okay.
Okay.
So here cactuses store large quantities of water in their stems.
So,
the answer?
if a student writes a whole sentence,
It's okay.
it's okay. If the student
Right.
says in their stems,
If he gives the exact information, also it's okay.
it's okay. In
Yeah.
their stems.
This
That's
means
it.
he understands
Full
what
mark.
he reads. Yeah.
There is no need
Yeah.
to write a whole sentence.
Yeah.
This is what I mean. Okay.
The third question.
Just to give the required information.
Yeah.
Okay.
How does the sticky substance protect chestnut trees from insects? We have keywords here: sticky substance and chestnuts. It should be here.
Again, the
yeah.
question, please.
Okay,
Read the question.
no, it's okay. Some plants, such as horse chestnut trees, are covered with a sticky substance, which can prevent insects from eating them.
Good.
So how they save, of course, themselves by the sticky substance?
He should mention
The sticky
the
substance.
mechanism.
Yeah.
Because the
Okay.
question says how.
How, the way.
Right?
Yeah, the method, the way.
If
Yeah.
he says it prevents, this sticky substance prevents animals from eating them. This is the result.
Yeah, yeah.
He didn't, here in this case, the student doesn't mention
Yes.
the mechanism.
Yes.
We ask him to say how.
How, the
How
method.
this substance, right,
Yes.
prevent insects from eating plants.
Yes.
The right? The
So
horse
the,
chestnut
this
nuts.
substance is sticky.
So
he should
here
mention that it
he
is a
should-
sticky
he should
substance.
Say, this substance is so powerful
Yeah.
that
Plants can't move.
when the insects,
Yeah,
you can read
yeah.
the question, please.
Yes, the
It is
question
mentioned
here.
in the text. I don't have the paper. Okay.
The question says, how does the sticky substance protect the chestnut trees from insects?
Exactly.
So, when insects attack, of course, this kind of a tree, they can't move because of this.
They get stuck.
Yes, they got stuck. This
Because they get
material is very strong. They get stuck,
This
so
is
they
what I
can't
mean.
move. Yeah,
Good.
exactly. Yeah.
What about the two
Yeah.
words now?
The second question is about finding words, finding meanings. Here we have the explanation.
The paper, push it up, please.
Yes, sir.
Yes. You
As-
can look at the monitor, Miss Hanan, to make
Okay.
sure that
Yeah.
it is clear for the
Yeah.
students. Thank you.
Okay. A small or hard part of a plant which a new plant can grow. Plant can grow from what? Of course, from yes. You can say it, of course, if you like.
Seed?
Yes.
Yes, the
Okay.
seed.
The seed, yeah.
Seed, yes.
okay.
Seed or seeds, it's okay.
Yes, yes.
It is accepted. If the student writes a singular noun,
It's okay. A
It's
seed
okay.
or seeds.
Plural noun.
It's okay.
It is accepted.
Yes.
It's okay.
The second word, to injure or to cause harm to, if you like.
Hurt.
Yeah,
Hurt.
to hurt. It's okay also.
Yes.
Yes. Now, the second question is about...
Sometimes
Yes, sir.
we have, let's say, strong learners or fast learners, we
Yes.
call them, and they think that they know everything. We know that they know everything
Yes.
in English.
Yeah.
They are good,
Good
very good.
at English, yeah.
So they don't read the text. They just look at the definition and
they
give you a word which is not found in the text. For example, some students may write here damage.
Yeah.
For example,
But,
destroy. It is not mentioned.
but,
It is not mentioned.
yeah.
They should mention the word. The question says, find words in the
From the
text,
text, yeah.
which mean the following.
Yes.
So the word must be found
In the text.
in the text. He
Yes.
should notice, he should read it, he should know, he should
This,
be sure that the word is mentioned
In the text.
in the text.
Yes.
Okay?
The third question, or the third kind of questions about this reading text is about correcting information. The question says, rewrite these sentences about the text to correct the information.
The
Here the-
paper again.
Sorry.
Look at the monitor, Miss Hanan. Yes, now it is clear.
Yeah. To rewrite these sentences about the text to correct the information. We have wrong information and the student has to compare this sentence according to the text to find the correct answer. They say here sharp thorns protect acacia trees from animals. The keyword about acacia trees. In this paragraph they say some acacia trees in hot African countries are protected by ants. So they are protected by ants, not by sharp thorns.
Exactly.
They should replace the word sharp thorns by ants.
Oh, do we have another choice here?
We can say acacia trees are protected from animals
ants.
by ants,
By
exactly.
ants.
Yes, but we have to rewrite the whole sentence, not just...
Or sharp thorns.
Yes,
If
yes.
a student keeps sharp thorns,
Yeah.
he can change
Yeah,
the
yeah,
subject.
yeah, exactly.
This is what I mean. He has another choice.
Yeah, right.
How can we correct it?
So if we keep sharp thorns, we have to go back here
To
to...
cactuses, in this case.
Yes, exactly. Yes, continue, Ms.
So
Sarah.
in this case, sharp thorns protect cactuses from
Cactuses are protected
Yes.
by
By
sharp
sharp
thorns.
thorns.
Sharp
That's
thorns.
it.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
he has here two
Two choices, yeah.
to correct
Yes.
the sentence. Now, if a student writes only the correction, I mean, some students don't write
The full answer, the
sentence,
full sentence.
the whole sentence again. And that's not, it is a wrong strategy, of course,
Yes.
because the question says
To rewrite
the
whole sentence.
Rewrite, it means write again.
Yes,
The
exactly.
whole sentence
in the correct
correctly.
form, yeah.
Correctly.
Yes,
So
exactly.
here the mistake is not a grammatical mistake. The mistake here in the
Is
sentence
information.
is related to information,
Yeah.
to the meaning.
Yes, exactly.
Related to the text, of
Of
course.
course.
So the information is found in the text.
Yes.
So he should go back to the text and
Yes.
understands
Yes.
how he can write the sentence correctly.
Yes,
That's
exactly.
it.
Yeah.
So if the student writes only the correction, of course,
It's not accepted.
he is not going to get the
full
full
mark.
mark, which
We
is
have a
specified to
deduction
this
here.
question. There will be a deduction, of course.
Yes.
What about the,
The second one, the only place where poison can be found in plants is the leaves. They said the only place, we don't have one place here, according to the text. We have different places to keep the poison. All the parts of the plant are, or the poison is kept in
So
all
how
parts.
can the student
He can
correct
omit
this?
only. We can say the poison, the place where poison can be found in the plant is the leaves, the stems, the roots, the leaf, etc. All the parts of the plant.
Yes,
Yes.
Yes.
He should rewrite the sentence correctly, of course.
of course,
Yes.
but not the only place.
Yeah, of course.
Okay, thank you very much, Ms. Hanan.
Yes.
Now, Lucia, can we talk about the second text? Of course,
Which is from the scientific
it is from
book.
the scientific book, the supplementary book, which is
Supplementary.
specified for the scientific section. And again, the second text is about 200 words, no more than 200
Not more than that.
words. What about this text, please?
Yes. First of all, we can read the text, then we can
okay.
answer the questions below. The modern world is defined by IT, or information technology. the term information technology emerged in the 1970s, but it can in fact be traced back to the World War II, when the military and early computer specialists worked together to develop electronics, computers, and information theory. In short, IT deals with the use of computers and computer software to convert, store, process, transmit, and retrieve information securely. In recent years, the field has ballooned through advances in computer applications and the internet to include mobile telephones, computer games, and video technology, as well as new ways of sharing, processing, and storing information electronically. The abbreviation ICT, Information and Communication Technology, which refers explicitly to electronic communication, is thus an increasingly familiar term. In a matter of decades, computers have developed from large, bulky machines to highly sophisticated devices that fit in the palm of your hand. Computers are evolving as rapidly as the ways in which people use them. One company is developing a refrigerator that emails a shopping list to the nearest market when it is empty. Now, the first question is about multiple choice. Students should just put the correct answer in the exam paper. Choose the correct answer, A, B, or C. Number 8, modern computers are larger than, or smaller than, or the same size as the old one.
I think the student here can answer this question without reading the whole text.
Yeah.
We all know that modern computers
are smaller than the old ones.
Yes.
It is a logical information.
Yeah.
Yes.
Next, IT makes storing and transmitting information a risky or useless or very safe process. The correct answer is C, which is very safe.
Good. What about the second task now?
Now, match the two underlined words from the text to the definitions and meanings below. Change from one use to another. Here we've got the word convert. The next one, well known to you, which is familiar. Complete the following sentences with information from the text. Here, students should read the text, then complete the sentences. The refrigerator is being developed now. Can, if we have a look at the text, we can see that it's email the market.
Yes, yes. That's it.
Number 13, during World War II, the military and computer specialists did their best to improve electronics, computers, and
Of course, here the student can go back to the text and he can easily, I think, complete these two statements. There is no need to think or to take a lot of time, thinking how to complete these two statements, because the task is very easy. Here, if some students, of course, do or make some mistakes when complete these two statements. They have grammar mistakes, for example, spelling mistakes, punctuation marks mistakes, etc. So, of course, all these things are mentioned in the grading scale. Sometimes we deduct some marks, sometimes we say it's okay, overlook
copying mistakes,
etc.
It depends on the scale.
Every time we put a grading scale. It depends on the scale or on what is mentioned in the scale every year. So now let's go to the second page, Mr. Hanan.
Yeah.
We don't have a lot of time. We need to be to do this in a hurry.
Yeah.
The question number 3
it
is about missing words.
Yeah, completing the spaces here from memory, of course. These words should be function words.
The paper, please.
Yeah. They say the questions.
Again, look at the monitor to
it's okay now.
put the paper in the correct place, please.
Is it now?
Yes.
Okay. Yeah. So
Okay.
complete the following paragraph by filling in the gaps. You have here 3 sentences, and you have to fill in the blanks, of course, with suitable
There
words.
is no need, I think, to read the text, just to
Yeah.
give some recommendations.
Yes,
What
okay.
about the words? What
The
kinds
words
of
should
words
be
can
function
here?
words. We mean by function words grammatical words, maybe articles, maybe prepositions. It can be helping verbs, models, maybe connecting
Okay,
words.
let's do the first one as an example
So
to
here,
give the
Mr.
student an
Bassel,
idea.
yeah, just students bear in mind that the words here are not content words. They are just functional words.
Yeah. Okay. Now, is it
Good.
okay? Yeah. So when I heard the space says wind blowing, it should be the wind.
No, to the
okay,
right. Okay.
now.
Yes.
So when I heard, we can say the wind blowing according to the book.
So the sentence from the beginning, please.
When I heard the wind, I should say, of course, the wind blowing, because here wind is definite, so we should use the. We
The.
need. Yeah.
We cannot say when I heard.
Heard a wind.
A wind.
It is uncountable, of course.
Here the speaker is talking about something in specific.
Yeah, something
Right.
specific. So
And an incident or an event which happened with him.
yes, something special, something definite. So it should be defined by the.
Yes.
So that we also we can say that, sir. That wind. It is
So
optional.
the second space now. I felt afraid. I sometimes really,
Yeah.
honestly, feel annoyed
Yes.
about some students
Yes.
who are unable to, let's say, to write the correct words in such, let's say, easy question. I'm sorry to say that. Any student should know in the baccalaureate that I felt afraid. Then we have a space, rushed. We have 2 verbs here,
Yes.
2 actions.
They should
I
be
felt
connected.
afraid and rushed.
Yes, exactly. They
Or
should be
then
connected.
rushed. It's okay.
Yes.
Without, but it is better to say and, of course. And rushed. That's it.
Yes.
I felt afraid and rushed to my parents' bedroom.
But if they say in the scale, you added this, of course, in the scale. If he says then,
Then we
It's okay.
accepted it.
Yeah,
We
okay,
accepted it.
yes,
Yes.
yes.
But I think and is stronger here
Yeah.
than
Of course.
then. But it's okay. We accepted it because
it is a
it is
connecting
grammatically
words.
correct
Correct. Yeah.
in this situation.
Yes.
My little brother sleeping. We are talking about a past event.
Yeah.
So and we have an ing. So he should use was. That's it.
Yes, of
was
That's it.
Was
sleeping.
Yeah.
And that's all. So what about the second extract? There is no need to write it or to do
Yeah.
it. The second extract or paragraph
From the
is
scientific
study.
section.
the scientific section.
And students should put the content words,
There will be a list.
yeah, a
This
list of
has
words,
5 words.
5
And we
words.
have
4
4 spaces.
spaces,
So 1 additional word.
yeah, and
Yes.
students should put them in the correct
What
space.
about the dialogue now? The question
Now,
number 5.
Question number 5, students should complete the dialogue with questions, 3 questions, and then an answer.
Okay.
My father,
If the student
yeah,
writes the answer in his question, of course, his answer gets 0,
0.
right?
Yes.
Here, this situation, from the answer, he can write the question. He should imagine, the student should imagine
The
the
speaker.
situation. Because if he could imagine the situation, it will be easier
Yeah.
for him, right? To do the dialogue or to complete the dialogue. Question words.
Can we do an example or?
It's okay, the first one as an
Okay.
example.
My father works for an oil company in Homs.
Good.
Here we've got
I think the student here has many choices.
Many choices.
Especially in the first question. In the first
because
question.
here we are asking about his father's work.
He can ask about the
The
subject.
subject.
But
Yeah.
I can ask you, if you are the speaker and you are telling me this information. My father works for an oil company in Homs. I can ask you,
Who?
who works, for an oil company in
in
Homs? You say, my father works in it. It's okay. It is accepted. But the first one, which is stronger, I think,
When we
what
ask
does your
about
father
father
do
do?
for a living?
But here
or
students
where
should,
does he work, for
should pay
example.
attention that don't say, what does your father work?
Yes.
It's,
But we deduct maybe
yeah,
2 marks.
we deduct
for
2
this.
marks because
Yes.
here it's totally
Yes,
wrong
yes,
to
yes,
say,
yes,
what
yes.
does your father
But
work?
maybe some students know that when I ask you about a job, I say, where do you work? No, it's not correct. He should say, what does he do for a living, for
Yeah.
example. Okay, it's okay. This is the language, so they should go back to their teachers and ask them about the correct choice or the correct way
Because
how
we
to
have
ask.
many options for the
Yes,
same
yes,
answer.
Exactly. The second
next,
one, we
the
have been
second one,
living there for 10 years.
Okay, here we're asking about
The period.
the period, so we can say, how long have you been
When we
there?
ask about a period, we use how long. That's it. They should know that. Okay?
So the question word here is very important, and here we make a kind of inversion and
Now,
complete the
question
sentence.
number, I'd like, in fact, we talked about
We talked
wish
about
and
passive
passive.
voice,
We did this.
I
both.
wish, and reported
What
speech,
about the
and
completion? The
causative
completion.
verbs.
The completion.
Miss Hanan,
Okay.
please.
Here they have to complete with a clause. The question says complete the following sentences.
Number 29 and
29,
30. Yes.
30.
The paper
Yeah.
again, Miss Hanan, please.
It should be
the paper.
in this
Yes.
way. Yeah.
Yes.
So, complete the following sentences using clauses. We have to add clauses. When we add clauses, this means we have to add a subject and a verb.
Let's do the first
okay.
one.
After she felt ill during the night, this is a time clause.
So here, the student should notice that this
Yeah.
clause is written
in the past.
in the past.
Yeah, and the completion must be past. Must. There are no choices. So after she felt ill during the night, she
Not necessary. He can, here in this situation, he has other choices.
To use the present tenses?
I'll tell you how.
Okay. No.
After she felt ill during the night, she did
She-
something else, for
yeah.
example. She visited her doctor, she went
She
to
went
the
to the doctor, she
called
went to the
her
hospital,
doctor,
yeah.
she took an aspirin, some medicine, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Etc.
Yes.
She can do
Anything.
many things.
Yes,
But
right.
after she felt ill during the night, she is afraid now.
That's why we can use the present.
You
Yeah.
see, so she's afraid now, and she decides to go to her doctor. So it's okay. We can use.
We advise usually.
Yes, yes, of course.
our
We
students.
usually advise the students. In order not to make mistakes,
Yeah.
is to determine the situation. If it is
Past,
past,
we should
complete with the past,
any
it's
past,
okay, and that's it. But here we have other choices, in fact. So the
it's
student
okay.
is free.
Yeah.
We give the freedom to the students because we need the students to be creative.
Yes.
In fact,
But they have to be
imagine,
careful
to use their own words.
Yeah.
But to be careful not to
about
make
the
mistakes.
grammar and
Yes.
about the meaning. If
Yes.
the grammar
Spelling,
is correct,
grammar, meaning.
yeah, especially
Yes.
they have
3
to.
points.
Yeah, they
And
have
the
to use subject verb.
Yeah.
This is grammatically, and the meaning should be logical to the beginning.
Yeah.
It should be a logical sentence. If it is illogical, of course,
And
it can't be.
this is the
Do
most
you
important
have
thing.
another thing?
Because if
Because
the
time is
sentence
over.
doesn't have sense, so it rates 0.
Exactly. If the sentence is grammatically correct, but if
No
it
meaning.
doesn't make sense, I mean, it doesn't give the correct meaning,
Yeah.
the student will get 0.
Zero.
Yes. So he has
so
to
the
take care
students
of the
should
two.
notice that. Okay, dear students, time is over. At the end of this seminar, dear colleagues, dear students, let me thank my colleagues in the studio who participated in this seminar for today. Ms. Lucia Karim, an English supervisor from Aleppo Directorate. Thanks for coming from
Thank you,
Aleppo.
Mr.
Thank you very
Basil.
much. And Ms. Hanan Kaltakji, an English teacher from Hama Directorate. Thank you very much for your participation.
Thank you, sir.
Dear students, we wish you good luck. At the end of this seminar, we say goodbye for all students in Syria. Thank you.